So the big thing for me was I needed to prove to myself that anybody could do this. So I launched those early programs. I'll touch on how we nurture our early adopters because they are extremely important people in your business and part of building a partner-friendly culture. And once I had done that, then it was all go for me. So this is where I focus a lot of my energies now. I still have the big corporate network, but I focus most of my energy on working with business owners. So James Stevens, a really good contact of mine. We've known each other a long time. He's the founder of the Roses Only Group. And what I do with my clients is we delve quite deeply into, there's a great interview that we share with our clients that I did with James about the 4 pillars of partnership that created Strategic Alliance success in his business. Now, how did a small florist company manage to score an alliance with one of the biggest bank in Australia at the time? There were 4 pillars to his partnerships. One was his ability to form partnerships that created a very unique value proposition, and you can see a picture of that on the right. He didn't just go to those guys and say, "Can I buy your champagne?" He had a very clever approach that increased his profitability and also gave him a very unique value proposition. The second thing he did was form distribution partnerships so that he had a national offering for the likes of the partners he was going after. And so he didn't have to start to invest really heavily in other warehouses and all that sort of thing. His third pillar of partnership, very clever, was you can see behind on the wall there, all of his cause marketing relationships. And there was some very, very smart brand building intelligence behind why he did that. He's a huge advocate of giving back and cause marketing, but I'm a big believer in cause marketing, and I'm a big believer that every relationship needs to be win-win. So those cause marketing relationships enabled him to access ambassadors that were aligned with his brand and databases of those people that, again, money can't buy. So there was a huge win-win for him with those relationships. The fourth one is the marketing partnerships. And they were the likes of the Commonwealth Bank and American Express and Qantas and lots of other partners that he'd aligned with to drive his ideal customer into the business. So, really, really smart way of building a business, extremely successful, and the way that he was able to go global very quickly as well. So one of the key things I want to cover off for you is the importance of understanding the different terms that people use when they talk about partnerships. And it's really, really important that you understand the difference between these terms, and I'm going to explain why. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine, but most of the coaches and mentors around the world refer to this type of marketing as joint ventures or joint venture marketing or JVs. Now, when you're working with other smaller businesses, if you all think it means the same thing, that's absolutely fine. And I know it's really commonly used in smaller business circles. But if you're asking for a joint venture and going after a bigger partner or someone running a business who's ex-corporate, it's going to mean something very, very different to them, and it could lose you really good partnerships before you even get a phone call with them. So I really want to make sure you get a lot of value out of this seminar, and I think this is a really key foundational thing that I like everybody in our community to know. So here's a really easy way of remembering it. I draw a comparison to dating, engagement, and marriage, and it goes from less commitment to more commitment. So a marketing partnership means that you're usually just doing marketing campaigns together. You're very separate businesses. There's no huge entanglement. You're running a marketing campaign to see how you like each other, see how you work together, see what the results are. This gives you a bit of an insight into who you talk to when you're going to a company. And for bigger companies, they're very siloed. They have a finance department, they have a customer service department, they have lots of departments, and they have a marketing department. So you would go as high up in the marketing food chain as you could possibly get. Always better to start higher up the company, and then you can work your way down. Now, with a smaller business, it may be that you go to the business owner, but you're still talking about running a marketing campaign. Now, there's a few reasons for that. One is you want to see how you work with the partner. Andrew Devaris over in the UK, very good partnership marketer. He talks about the fact that you're asking for a first date, you're not asking them to marry you. And that's actually a benefit for both sides of the relationship. You want to test it as much as they do. And it also means it's going to move a lot faster because you're not getting bogged down in legalities and lots of, complex terms. You just want to start with something really simple and get it going. We had a client that worked with us, and I'll mention her later on, but she was trying to get a partnership. She'd had a lot of success in strategic alliances to build her business to over 50,000 mums in her community in under 2 years. And so she already knew what she was doing with strategic alliances, but she worked with us because she wanted to take it to the next level. And she reported to me within 4 weeks after completing the program that she had secured an alliance with a BRW Fast 100 company. So that's a very prestigious award run by a magazine called Business Review Weekly. And she had been negotiating with them or trying to get an alliance with them for over 12 months prior to that. So what she was able to do was see, and I guess her conclusion there was she was overcomplicating it and she was making it too hard for them to say yes. So she was able to really simplify it. Now, a strategic alliance just takes it a little bit further, and there's loads of ways you can get benefit out of strategic alliances, which I'll show you in some of the case studies. Now, strategic alliance means it's getting a little bit more serious. You might actually start to say, hey, we've done some successful marketing campaigns together. Why don't we look at doing some sharing the call center. So I often use an example of central heating because I thought it was a great example of a missed opportunity when I got it put into my house in the Blue Mountains. And, it's a big investment. It's about $7,000 to get central heating put in. Now, one of my biggest concerns was, how much are my utility bills going to go up by? How do I retain the heat in the house so that I'm not, I don't have a big cost of living every quarter? And now one of the first things I asked the supplier was, can you recommend someone to do insulation? Now, much to my disappointment, he said no. So one of the other mindset shifts I want you to have is when you form the right strategic partnerships, you're doing your customer a favor. So we'll touch on this in the 6 steps we're going to cover off tonight. But one of the big things you want to think about is, what would make your customer's life better and easier? So let's say your partner has a call center and you don't have one, and they're selling something. So central heating, they've sold the central heating to me, and they're ringing me from their call center to book an appointment to come in and install it. Now, as an insulation provider, I could be saying to the central heating company, well, what if when you're calling to book the appointment, you ask them if they'd like to get a quote for insulation, which could reduce their energy costs by 30% every year, or do an assessment of how effective their insulation is. So you can see there that all of a sudden there's such a big win for both companies. It's a great value-added service for the central heating client's customer. And it's also an opportunity to share costs, and it's also an opportunity to create a new revenue stream if the insulation provider then gives the partner a cut of any sales. So strategic alliances can be anything from sharing offices, marketing, staff, warehouse facilities, call center, any sort of resources, be it marketing or any other type of resources. And it can be a really, really clever way of not duplicating effort and being able to more fully leverage what's available to you. So that's why I often use the term strategic alliance, because I really encourage our community to take every opportunity and look at it in a multidimensional way. So a joint venture, in the true sense of the word, and if you look it up in the dictionary, is a way more legally entangling relationship. There's usually some sort of formal alliance and agreement. It can involve contribution of funds, co-ownership. It really is getting into bed with somebody. It really is getting way more entangled with another company. The first two, you really are still separate entities, and it's much easier to walk away. Joint venture, it's going to take longer because if you do it properly and you protect yourself, you really want to go through a full negotiation process, and you want to make sure that you cover yourself with the right legalities as well. And that's why even though I've done joint ventures, I really don't do them lightly. And if you've gotten into your business to keep life simple and to be the master of your own destiny and steer your own ship, I'd highly encourage you not to jump into a joint venture lightly. So I hope that straight away should help you get some quick wins if you've been using the terms joint ventures. And I'll use this example. Cameron was sent to me by one of my strategic partners because he was negotiating with a large pharmaceutical company, and the deal wasn't going the way he wanted. So it was getting stuck. He said to me, Simone, they're bringing in lawyers, they're drawing up contracts. It's not what I want to do with them. I don't understand why it's going that way. After asking him a few simple questions, what we worked out was he was using the wrong terminology. He was asking for a joint venture. So this is a real case of be careful what you ask for. By coaching Cameron to tweak his language, and ultimately determining that he and the pharmaceutical company actually wanted the same things, they just thought they were talking about something else. The deal went really smoothly and he got the deal he wanted, and it was kept nice and simple. So I hope that you get a lot of value just out of that clarification of what the different types of partnerships are.